did receive some downloads, and this is going to out some nefarious doings. Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy, by some people who are bad and who are continuing, Queen of Wands, continuing to manipulate people in their environment. My experience was I was looking for a place to live after the place that I had been renting for a while decided to consolidate a home with a boyfriend. All good. Around that time, I agreed to move in and rent a room from somebody named Randy, last name Brown, who I thought was a friend. And at the last minute, literally the day that I was moving in, decided to cancel on me. And soon after, I was contacted by a stranger on Facebook who slid into my DM sending me a message saying I was attractive. This kid's name was David Michael. 5 of Wands, Leo energy, competition, and a few days go by and I end up on Facebook, which I wasn't on that much. And this person, this David Michael, was also on there. We get to chatting on Messenger, and he, I shared with him my story of looking for a place. And he meant, this was during COVID, so 2020. Yeah, 2020. And it's like, oh, hey, my dad's run a couple of B&Bs in town, and I can hook you up with them and see if, you could rent. So I did. I thought, oh, how fortuitous. The universe has hooked me up with a place to live. So I met with his father, Larry Michael, and his other dad, Alan, and they run several B&Bs. And the one that I looked at had a basement apartment that I ended up renting for about $1,100 a month. Nice place, nice renovated B&B that had several apartments, as well as inside the main living space, several rooms that people would come in and rent. So we agreed, and I moved in, and soon after invited the son over for dinner. I think he brought some fish that he had caught, and we cooked it up. And anyway, long story short, this person had eyes for me, and I wasn't interested at all, and I let him down, I think, kindly. Well, within the first week that I was living there, I had something stolen from the back of the vehicle that I was using, and about a week after that incident, Alan installs a camera just outside my front door to the apartment, which was apartment number 3. My life path and expression number is 3. And I assumed it was because of the theft of some of my items. Little did I know that this Michael clan, this family, are sick in the head. Larry Michael, I think, was a former psychology teacher at the University of Alaska, possibly, or at least got his degree from there. This family also claims to be spiritual or religious believers in God. But while I was living there, which was almost about a year, they were tracking my every visitor by this camera that they had placed out there, which I ended up asking about and seeing if it was actually tied to any sort of video recording device. And I was told no, that it was just for looks. These individuals are sick. They also rent out rooms to largely young gay men, and all of these men are like OnlyFans, and they have OnlyFan pages. A lot of them do drag at the local gay bar called Mad Myrna's, and they're all doing drugs together, having sex with each other, and these men who come off as religious and community leaders and all this stuff, are basically taking these kids into their care, and for example, I had a few of these kids befriend me and try to drug me, or I think a lot of them are actually have STDs or STIs or HIV positive, and Nine of Pentacles. So that's definitely Virgo energy. It's of the body. I'm talking about health. This is one of the healthiest cards of the minor arcana. And then we have the Page of Wands, very lusty, showy energy. So we have Five of Wands to start. Here's you, collective, or if this story resonates with you, and that's me. And then this is all the young, sexually overtly promiscuous son, and all of these gay boys that this older couple, this older gay male couple employ, and get into a life of crime, of gang stalking. And what happened to me was they gang stalked me. They were tracking where I went, and were videotaping anybody who would come over that I was befriended with, or just watching me, all because I rejected their son. Seven of Swords. While I was there was a woman who was Native Alaskan, and her boyfriend living in one of the adjacent apartments. Well, she OD'd one night and was taken to the hospital. I don't know what became of her, but all the while I was living at the Arctic Fox Inn in Anchorage, Alaska, there was a lot of nefarious activity. People coming to visit from places like Arizona and Nevada, Florida, Texas, and other parts of Alaska. And I maintain that these men are racist, do not like Native Alaskans. Ironically, their son, who they adopted, are Native Alaskan, and I'm half black. Well, not quite half, but I wish I had more in me. I'm about 33% African DNA. So Larry, the main guy, is an Aquarius. This is Aquarius energy. Deceptive, liar, dark energy. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of sexual abuse in the home when he adopted a set of twins. So, what else can you show me? What else does the collective need to know who might know these individuals or be involved with them and their nefarious activities? Dark energy. I mean, to collect $1,100 from me in rent, all the while being very deceptive, like I said, watching my every move, maybe on the behalf of their son or not, but sending a lot of their gay boys who were on drugs, who were HIV positive, trying to have sex with me, to pass it on or just make my life hell. I think too, there was a lot of swords, Libra energy. This is mental rest and balance, healing mentally that I've gone through, had to go through after finally waking up to what was going on and getting my ass out of there. They were defaming my character. They were trying to get me into prostitution, get me hooked on drugs or drugged up so that they could take advantage. 7 of Pentacles, this is Taurus energy. I happen to be a Taurus. So we had 7 of Swords, 4 of Swords, and then 7 of Pentacles. 2 of Wands at the bottom. Why were they doing this, Spirit? Why were they doing this? Just wanted to pop out. Money, Ace of Pentacles. This also card represents one of my guardian angels, Ace of Pentacles. This is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. These gay men, this Larry Michael and his partner Alan, and even their son David, would take these trips around the world. A lot of the trips were down to Puerto Vallarta, where there is a large gay contingency, drag scene down there. And their son did drag, along with a lot of the boys that they were sending my way, trying to get me caught up in whatever, who performed at the local place, Mad Myrna's. They would vacation, spend weeks down there sometimes in the off season. And I believe, Spirit has told me, that they are actually, you know the television show Ozark? Well, Spirit has been showing that, giving me that message for months. And I think it started while I was up there, living in that hellhole. The basic premise is that a family has moved to the Ozarks or that region, and are getting local businesses to basically launder money for Mexican cartels. I believe that the Arctic Fox Inn is one business in Alaska that is tied to Mexican cartels. So while I was there were I think a lot of human traffickers that would come and stay. Look at that devil on the bottom. Human traffickers, and also human traffickers tying people down, obsessing over them, controlling them, as well as assisting drugs to be sold up in Alaska. I think a lot of drug dealers and people who are tied to this Mexican cartel operate through the Arctic Fox Inn and Larry Michael. Of course, if you go to their Facebook page, it's all love and light and compassion, and it's videos of them putting together charities and fundraisers for local whatever. No, they basically extract as much money from people who they have conned into renting from them. They track their every move, and then with that money, they go down to Mexico and vacation, or they'll travel the world. The woman who OD'd, I believe, was placed there to basically not live. Three of Cups, Cancerian energy. This is my conspiracy card. People working together in celebration, in concert, to do shit like this to people. It's really sick. What else can you tell me about this? I'm doing this reading because people need to know about this and look into this company and these people, because they're also tied to other people on their Facebook groups, and I think they work with them to basically target anybody from the LGBTQ community that don't join them, who don't befriend them, who were smarter, who didn't want to live a lifestyle like they were living, and they were just insanely jealous of the natural abundance that I have and other people have. And again, I think they're also tied to Aryan Brotherhood. I know it sounds strange that they should also be working with a Mexican drug cartel or cartels of human trafficking. But I grew up on the West Coast. I was born in Los Angeles, raised in Southern California. I also lived some time in Oregon. And if you don't know or haven't figured it out yet, from Mexico all the way to Alaska, including parts of Hawaii, there is, Wells Fargo Bank, which does a lot of the money laundering for these local businesses. And there's also the Aryan Brotherhood that lives on the West Coast. So Idaho, Washington State, California, Oregon, Colorado, Texas, Arizona, Hawaii, and even parts of BC, Vancouver. What also links all of these states or the West Coast is and especially in Alaska. I lived in Southeast Alaska for about 12 and a half years before I moved to Anchorage for about 3. there is the cruise ship industry, which is an overtly, it's a means for these drug cartels, for criminals to smuggle dope, to smuggle people into these states, mainly in Alaska. It's really super simple for them to, because somebody who pays, for a cheap ass cruise can easily smuggle on drugs, or people who are being human trafficked or sex trafficked. Also, too, I think there's, while I was working for the state of Alaska, there are entities, people within the state of Alaska who are aware of this. And my employers at the time were aware of this as well. And this Michael clan was probably giving them money to put me into this, which is essentially a trap house. Unbeknownst to me. World card, Capricorn energy, major cycles ending. This is, my Mars is in Capricorn, and in my 9th house. And Pluto's on my MC right now. This is authority. This is the all 4 fixed signs of the zodiac in one card. Capricorn energy. What else fell out? Yeah, 7 of Cups, Scorpionic energy. This is illusions caused by my employers to keep me drinking, smoking, marijuana went legal in Alaska in 2015, and they have a very sophisticated system up there. But I also think that the state tracks people who buy and will taint their marijuana with fentanyl and other LSD, other mind-altering substances that should not be connected to marijuana. 5 of Pentacles, Taurus energy. This is me looking for a home during all of this mayhem, and being put into a state of lack and of poverty, so that I could easily find myself amongst or in this den of thieves. This Page of Cups energy, Piscean energy. We are exiting the age of Pisces and moving into the age of Aquarius. Ironically, the Larry Michael is an Aquarius sun. Very devilish, very superior, actually believes that they're smarter than everyone else. And given his degree in psychology, I think applies reverse psychology and manipulation of the mind to all these younger gay men, including his own set of twins that he adopted, to distort their reality, to corrupt their young hearts and minds in a way. Page of Cups is Piscean energy. Pisces rules the 12th house. This is Neptunian energy. And it has a lot to do with prostitution, which a lot of the boys in their care or whatever were put into that lifestyle because of their sick sexual urges or needs of controlling these young, impressionable gay boys, essentially. I also picked up a lot of CP and SA on the part of these men, who again, if you go to their social media, they present completely different. So that with people like me who finally escaped and figured this out, if we do speak up, it would be much more difficult for us to be believed. Ha! Justice. And it was technically in the reverse. This is definitely you, Larry, and Alan, and your son, David. I've contacted the FBI, and I even contacted the local police, I think at the time, because I was being watched and probably recorded. They sent a couple of fake cops. I mean, it was pathetic, and I gave a report, and nothing happened. I got my ass out of there, and I've phoned the local FBI office, which is also really sketchy. I mean, the FBI office in downtown Anchorage looks like a prison, surrounded with barriers that would stop a tank, in theory. Anchorage and Alaska in general is very, very dark. There's tons of CP that's produced there, lots of prostitution, as they have strip clubs, lots of drugs, and it's all tied into local government and the police department, the Anchorage Police Department. So there are some bad cops, many of whom know that all the hotels in Anchorage will host porn stars, and most of that is advertised through phone apps like Tinder and Scruff and Grindr, which is one of the main means of finding suckers like me that they can manipulate, that they can catfish, and assume their identities, create fake profiles, and send messages out to other people that they're trying to catfish, pretending to be me, pretending to be other people, to create a very bad impression. I can assure you, I've never catfished anyone, and I am not a prostitute, never have been, and have never taken part in any of that. So, justice is coming. If the FBI did receive my message and took it seriously, because I also mentioned the fact that I was working for the state of Alaska for the Department of Revenue. I became a whistleblower because they were denying the PFD to same-sex couples, military couples, based on outdated statutes and regulations that should have been removed when gay marriage was legalized by the Supreme Court in 2015. To this day, they have not changed the Constitution, the Alaska Constitution, which was the first state to define marriage as between a man and a woman. They also hire and use a crooked lawyer who pretends to be LGBTQ, and they very well may be lesbian. But Caitlin Shortell is dirty, and was also one of the people who, when the denials for the PFD came through my office, I was running the Anchorage office at the time, and I saw a denial. One of my technicians, Zach, he brought it back to my attention, and this was about 3 years after we were instructed in 2015 that the PFD should be paid to same-sex couples, so long as the applications were deemed payable. In other words, there were no other marks against that application other than this statute or regulation that should have been removed, and the technicians were applying that old statute and regulation to same-sex couples in the military and denying them their PFD. So when the denial came through, it was an appeal. I called down to Juneau, had a conversation with the appeals team and another supervisor who instructed me that this was the way we were supposed to deny, because the statute and regulation was still in our book. It made no sense, Sean. And my boss, Kimberly Lane, a morbidly obese woman who is absolutely corrupt and so sad and pathetic because of her physical state, and has been for I don't know how long, is just a bitter, angry person. So she allowed all of these denials to go through simply because I think a lot of these states do, there's a thread of the Aryan Brotherhood that runs through them. I think most of my attackers are racists, whether they're aware of it or not. There's a demon within them that is not of love, that is not of light, that is absolutely racist. And they operate within this Aryan Brotherhood underground, as well as working with Mexican drug cartels to launder money through their businesses. Probably put into a position, 10 of Swords, Gemini energy. This is what they wished for me. And it's probably what has happened to many more people. I was one of the lucky ones who could escape. However, being that some of these people were high up in the state of Alaska within the legislature, Marta Listufka, then Governor Michael Dunleavy, one of his workers, Laura Bess Stidolf, who practices magic. She's a Cancer sun. Her family also has smuggled drugs. She's a black widow, along with some other lesbians, closet lesbians. They're basically narcissists. And if you look into the research, a lot of narcissists also present as being in the closet, or go both ways. Not because they're truly two-spirit like me, but because they're so narcissistic that it actually sexually excites them to be attracted to the same sex, because it is, again, like looking in a pond, like Narcissus did, and fell in love with himself and could only exist off the energy of that reflection. Laura Bess Stidolf, German, definitely racist, definitely of the Aryan Brotherhood. She claims to be clean and sober. The last conversation I had with her, after, about a year after her second child, who was born on my birthday, April 26th, was born, we're in conversation, and I am explaining to her what attachment style is. I'm explaining to her how I use cognitive functions to basically heal my childhood wounding. And this was before I started my LLC and do what I do now, I'm in conversation with her, and she admitted to me that she was back on drugs. She was doing meth. She had met some biker dude, and this was after her marriage, while her husband was working out of state doing construction. So, another person I'll mention, a friend / nemesis, foe of Laura Beth Steidoff, is Shannon O'Brien. Both of them are deeply mentally disturbed. They're racist, but so messed up that, for example, Shannon O'Brien is dating a black woman, and who's a Libra. Shannon's a Pisces sun. Laura, by the way, is a Cancer sun, Taurus rising. It's a sick. Oh, I also believe that Shannon and maybe even Laura are, Shannon, for example, she had something, they do magic. They put things in people's food. They also do like voodoo dolls and do rituals, blood magic, using period blood, incantations, you name it. And they were and are still doing this to people in the community, which is why I'm sharing this with you. You need to know about this, because a lot of the missing people that went missing in Juneau, single women, I think they're tied to their disappearances. I know Shannon and her partner, Brittany, who are all in the drag scene in Juneau, they basically are hired by the state of Alaska to gang stalk people, to tap their phones like they did mine, emails, and create a story around whoever person that they've targeted, to reframe who they are within the community, so that if they ever found out or spoke up, if they weren't successful in offing them, unaliving them, or having them go missing, that they wouldn't be believed. Painting pictures of drug abuse. All of this is projection. This is what they do in their own lives that they've hidden from their community, their friends and family. Friends. I guarantee you, friends, they've done this to you in some way or another, or are doing it to you now. So I created this reading to get the word out. Queen of Pentacles, Taurus energy, Eight of Wands, that's me delivering this messages. This is Venus and Sagittarius. I am doing this out of love, because there's some dark shit going on in your community, and you need to step up, and you need to question these people and look into where they get their money, how they make their money. Ten of Pentacles. Because it's off you guys. They're stealing from you. Stealing from your homes. Life insurance policies. All right. I think I'm going to leave it at that. One last card from the After Tarot. Where is this all going to go, Spirit? Six of Wands on the split and the Wheel of Fortune. So karma is coming for you. The universe, Yahweh, Yeshua energy, Gaia energy, the energy of all the Tlingit and Haida Native Alaskan tribes who have been decimated, who their lands have been taken, all from racist Aryan Brotherhood white people. Usually, historically, came from Russia. And it's not a coincidence that, for example, when 45 was our president, every time he would refuel up in Anchorage, guess who would hop on that plane and bring his little bag of McDonald's, Mike Dunleavy, to kiss his ass and lick his ass. Hanged man, Piscean energy. This is me bringing enlightenment to y'all. A lot of nefarious black market, black web, dark web activity is coming out of Russia through Putin, who's probably one of the world's most richest men because of his influence on the dark web now, and through espionage, through the number of younger Russians that lived in these communities in Alaska, who I think were just plants, was very high in number. And before the election, I was working for on the board of the Southeast Alaska Gay Lesbian Alliance. Go figure, the STAR. Working and helping to heal people in my community. All the while, the other board members were leading this drag scene here or there in Juneau. Were talking shit about me the whole time. Anyway, I was the secretary and then the president. And while I was secretary, I was managing the website. And in 2015, the amount of Russian addresses that were signing up accounts on our website was just out of this world. All the while, too, on Facebook, I have no doubt that there were bots and or people who were trying to get close to people like me who are actually on the right side of truth and justice and fairness, the tower. I brought the tower in this reading to you, people in Juneau, people who knew me and know these damaged, deeply damaged individuals. Ask them what's up. Pay attention to their actions, and compare them to the words that they speak. They're dark and mentally damaged, emotionally stunted individuals who are committing crimes. Some of them lethal. I mentioned Shannon. I don't think it's a coincidence that her ex-father-in-law died suddenly, young guy. I think they do death magic and rituals on people. In this case, I think it was to get money for her son through the death of her son's grandfather. Sick people who became obsessed with me after asking me to basically impregnate her wife so that they could have a child. Again, this weird, knowing that I'm 33% African DNA, this weird love-hate of any person of color, a person of melanated skin. who wasn't. The amazing thing is that you stupid bitches. Do you know how much superior Aryan blood I have in my mix? I am super strong and powerful, much more so than you. And I think on a quantum level, on the molecular level, you knew that, but you're just not smart enough or well enough for it to register. And so you, when I wouldn't give you my seed so you could have a baby, you sought to destroy me. You're sick. Also throw in another name, Marta Lestufka. Definitely into human trafficking and manipulating people, putting drugs in period blood, doing magic through her business. Ran like a sweets, chocolate thing, and brought some chocolates to me in when I was living in this trap house, this Arctic Fox Inn, and actually laced it with meth. The salt that was on the chocolate, yeah, she had placed meth on. Sick individuals. Marta she claims was the inspiration behind Paula Vogel's play How I Learned to Drive, which I've never read nor seen, but it is the story of a young girl who is SA'd by her own father or stepfather or something like that. High Priestess on the split, Ace of Wands. Yeah, I'm definitely telling the truth. And I know what I'm talking about because I am a high priest. All right, I think that's it. So, I'm obviously moved on and away from these people, but it's important that you who are still living among them know, because all this corruption, all this death needs to be brought to light so that it can stop and these people can be imprisoned and suffer the consequences of the actions they've taken against innocent people, against high priests and lovers of light and healing. And specifically of healing childhood wounds, which I've spent most of my life doing because my mom was a freaking narcissist, a Scorpio. They just never healed and grew up in this lifestyle of grifting and death and money laundering and human trafficking and sexual abuse and pornography and all that stuff. It's Alaska is a dark place that is founded on dark, evil principles.